All right, so Kyle Kulinski and a bunch of other new media progressives will be going to Politicon, which is on the 20th and 21st, which is in less than a week now. It's very close. The first day is within 5 days. And I'm sure you guys know about this because I have indeed talked about it at length. Now, if you don't know, first I want to say the Politicon's in Los Angeles if you don't already know. Now, Kyle says that he goes about like once a year to LA because if you don't know, just like Blair White said, a bunch of commentators go to LA because that's where a lot of work is. So the Joe Rogan podcast is there, the Young Turks studio is there. And during his segment in which he broke down the official Politicon schedule, Kyle Kulinski announced that he's going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast once again, as well as being on the full 2 hours of TYT. Check it out.
It should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, when I'm on this trip, the day after Politicon, I will be doing both hours of the Young Turks, and then the day after that, on Tuesday, I will be on Joe Rogan's podcast at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, and one more thing real quick.
Alrighty, so I don't know how many of you guys knew that, so I wanted to let you guys know because I'm sure that this Joe Rogan podcast, just like the last one with Kyle Kulinski, is going to be pretty damn good. Now, I do want to mention, because I know most of you guys probably don't watch the Kyle and Corn podcast, but one of them, he was speaking about how Tulsi Gabbard gave Jimmy Dore a shout out, and he jokingly said that he was jokingly saying that he was butthurt because despite him giving a shout out to Tulsi Gabbard while he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, Tulsi only shouted out Jimmy Dore and I think some other new media figures, and he said that he was butthurt. He said he texted it to Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore. So it looks like he's gonna become one of the regulars on the Joe Rogan podcast, which is nothing but a good thing. And Jimmy Dore's already been on there twice as well. So progressive media is going to start having progressive new media, I should say, is going to be having a much better representation. So that is always a good thing. Hopefully, I mean, the next step is to get David Pakman on there. Although that Pakman podcast probably won't be that good because Pakman's not, I don't know, he seems a little awkward. But anyways, I'm looking forward to the Kyle one. The previous one went on for like 3 hours, and pretty much the entire podcast was good. Like, I enjoyed all of it. It was great. I mean, they talked about, age of consent, and they just talked about a bunch of different stuff, like minimum wage, Bernie Sanders, neoliberalism. They covered a bunch of different things, right? And it just worked really well, man. They bounced off each other, and it gave a breath of fresh air, I think, to a lot of people who are sort of used to whether or not they're sort of doing it on purpose or not, but it's this sort of idea that the left is full of, the green-haired SJW liberals. So I am excited. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm sure that you guys are excited as well. To repeat again, it will be on Monday, the day after Politicon. He will be on TYT for both hours. They do 2 hours. I think the first hour is like news, and the second hour is just kind of like miscellaneous stuff. And then the day after that, which is Tuesday, which will be the 23rd, so he'll be on TYT the 22nd of October, and for both hours. And then on the 23rd of October, which is Tuesday, he'll be on the Joe Rogan podcast at 1 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you check it out. I mean, I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Those Rogan podcasts with Kyle are pretty dope.